All right, so we're gonna start on our backs and just gonna take a second in corpse pose just to drop in, become present, and start noticing what you feel. So just relax the weight of your body onto the mat. Relax your mind. And remember to take on the role of the observer. So we're here just to move our bodies and to observe, to listen to the signals throughout the practice. No judgment, so check in with your inner dialogue, especially when we get to poses that are difficult. And then, as always, through the movement, I'm going to cue you with, my verbal cues, but feel free to move in any way that feels organic to you. Just try to listen to your body. It's going to tell you what it needs. Just try to honor that. Don't get frustrated. So start syncing up with your breath. Gonna get a little bit deeper on the inhale, a little slower on the exhale. Relax anywhere that you're holding tension. Just bring awareness to everything that's happening in your body. Notice what you're feeling. Once you're feeling synced up with the breath, you can bend both knees, walk the heels up toward your hips. And then you're going to just take your hands, let them rest on the tops of your knees. So kick your feet up off the ground, let the weight of gravity just kind of pull your heels toward the mat. Your arms are going to extend, just gripping on the front of the knees. Just nice, gentle relax. Okay, and then from there, we're going to bring the knees in together, all the way up to the chest, and then apart, left to right. Keeping the toes in to touch, but kind of just drawing big circles with your knees. Bring them back into center, open to the left and the right. Keep your toes touching. Just start to notice what you feel in the front of the hip. And sync up with your breath if you can. Just nice, gentle movement to begin. If you want to reverse that circle, you can do that. Just kind of noticing what's going on in the hip flexors. I'm going to pay special attention to that in the low back to begin with. If you're sore because of activity, or if you're sore just from being sedentary for work, these exercises help with both of those things. So it should feel pretty good. All right, when you're feeling nice and relaxed through the hip flexors, you can let both feet fall to the mat. Then we're just going to pick up that right knee, tuck it into the chest, wrap both arms around it. And send that left leg out long. So full extension at the knee, just lowering your heel toward the mat. And then just hug that right knee into your chest. And we're going to start to draw small circles with that right knee by squeezing the knee up and in toward your right armpit. And kind kind of outward to the right. So find what feels good. Should be getting a little bit of compression in the front right hip. And just start to notice what your threshold is for flexibility and mobility in the hips. And you're just gently challenging those boundaries. So find what feels good. If you want to rock that knee to the left and to the right, you can do that. If you want to reverse the circle, you can do that. Just starting to open up through the hip. Remember to focus on the quality of your breath. Notice your inner dialogue, notice where your thoughts go. And when you feel good, we're going to take it to the other side. So send the right leg out, bring the left knee all the way up to your chest. Both arms wrap around it. You'll start by drawing small circles with that left knee. Do a little exploring. Observe what you feel. Play around with the movement. And just listen to your body. Let your body tell you what it needs. Feel free to close your eyes if it feels good, if it helps you be present. You're just observing what you feel. So take whatever easy organic movement you need. And when you feel good, you can release that left heel to the mat. All right, then we're gonna walk the right heel back up so both knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor. And then you're gonna take that left ankle, cross it over the right knee. So if you wanna take your left hand and just gently press on the inside of that left thigh to start opening up through that left hip, you can do that. Nice and gentle. Notice where your threshold is. You can walk that right heel toward the hips a little more if you want a little more intensity in there, in that stretch. And then when you feel good with that, we're going to kick the right foot up off the mat, so right knee comes to a 90-degree. Interlace your fingers behind that right hamstring. And then relax the head, the neck, the shoulders down onto the mat. So once you get there, try to take your left elbow and just press into that left thigh to open up through that left hip a little further. And then pull your right thigh closer to your face. Both feet are active, so your toes are kind of pointing toward your shin. And you're just going to gently find easy movement. That should really open up through that left hip. If you want a little more intensity in the hamstring, you can fully extend that right knee. So send your right heel toward the ceiling. Remember pressing your left elbow into your left thigh, just opening up through the hip. Stay synced up with your breath, stay present, just observing what you feel. When you feel good on that side, you can slowly unravel, release that right heel to the earth. Left heel to the earth, and then we're going to take it to the other side. So right heel comes up, right ankle crosses over the left knee. And you'll start by gently pressing your right hand into your inner right thigh, opening up through that right hip. Just kind of gauging your threshold, working gently with the body, and noticing what you feel. When you're ready, you can kick that left foot up, left knee comes to 90 degrees, fingers interlace behind that left hamstring. Both feet are active. And you're going to press that right elbow into that right inner thigh. And use your hands to bring your left thigh a little closer toward your face. If you want to extend that left leg, you can. Just find your edge. Take a couple more breaths there, really opening up through that right hip. Close your eyes if it feels good. And when you're ready, bend that left knee, release that left heel to the mat, and unravel. All right, so then we're gonna go to a little happy baby pose. So take your time getting there, get there however you'd like. But essentially you're gonna bend both knees, bring them both toward your face, and grab the bottom or grab the outside edge of both feet. And then we're gonna bring the bottoms of the feet toward the ceiling, bring the knees toward the outside of the chest, or like toward the armpits. And then use your hands to gently pull your feet downward, closer to the ground. If you want to gently open up through the knees, you can do that. If you want to rock back and forth a little bit, you can do that. Just find any gentle movement while you're here. And if this is too intense, you can leave one foot planted on the ground and just do one leg at a time, a single stirrup posture. So you're just bringing that knee toward the corresponding armpit, toward your shoulder. Again, opening up through the hip, maybe stretching through the hamstrings. Find what feels good. And when you've got what you need out of happy baby, you can release both feet to the mat. Take your time, move at your own speed. Then we're going to walk the heels up toward the hips. Let your hands splay out left to right, and you're going to snuggle your shoulder blades underneath you a little more, so you're kind of drawing them in toward one another. Your palms might open up toward the ceiling. Your toes are facing the front edge of your mat. Feet are hip width apart or closer together. And we're going to go into a little bridge pose. So pressing into the heels, pressing into all four corners of the foot, you're going to slowly, with control, starting with the tailbone, raise up, bringing your hip points toward the ceiling, articulating through the spine, trying to reach full extension at the hips. You can walk your shoulder blades under a little bit more, support the neck. If you want to interlace your fingertips for a bind, you can do that. Once you get to the top of your bridge, press a little further. And if you are in the bind with your hands, press your hands further down toward the mat. And then one more time, raise your chest a little bit higher, chin to the chest. And on your next exhale, slowly with control, release the hands. Lower one vertebra at a time, all the way back down to the mat. Slow and with control. All right, take a second here, bring the soles of your feet together, open up the knees, just let them fall left to right. You can rest your hands on the belly. Wherever feels good for you, close your eyes if it feels good. And just take a second to sync up with the breath. When you're ready, if you want to take your hands to the outside of the thighs and slowly assist, bring the knees back together. And then from here, we're going to rock and roll up to the sitting position. So you're going to tuck your knees into your chest, give yourself a little momentum, roll up and down the spine. If you want to do it a few times, if you need to do it a few times, then do it. Once you get to the top, we're going to come to a cross-legged seat. So I'm going to turn to face you for that. You can face any way that you like. Stacking the spine, head over heart, heart over pelvis. Make sure you're nice and tall. Your chest is open. You can draw deep breaths, feeling relaxed. And then we're just going to go through a little bit of gentle neck rotation. So start by drawing small circles with your nose. And then slowly widen those circles, going through that full range of motion, that rotation at the neck. And just notice anything that's going on there. Any stiffness, any sticking points. When you feel good, you can reverse that circle. Noticing what you feel in this direction, if anything's different, if anything's asking for your attention. I like to rock left and right at the bottom, like tucking your chin toward your chest. It stretches through the traps. Feels really good down through the back of the neck and the upper back. And I encourage you to find any movement that feels good for you. When you feel good there, take your time. We'll come back to sitting. Come back to stillness. Stack the head over heart, heart over pelvis. And we're going to start by taking the right hand to the mat next to us. So fingertips are pointing toward the top edge of my mat in this case. And then with that right hand, you're going to slowly start to guide it away from your body, coming downward onto that right forearm or close to it, or maybe not even close at all. But bend that right elbow. Try to anchor through the hips, go nice and slow, coming all the way down to that forearm. So take a look at it, see if it's pointing in a generally straight direction, see if it is where you want it to be. And then bring your awareness to that left hip. Make sure that you're grounded, make sure that you're relaxed through the glute. And if you're here just with your elbow bent, that's totally fine. You don't need to be all the way down. Just work with what you're working with today. Listen to your body and find what feels good. So once you get there, you're going to check in with your anchor. Try to relax again through that left hip. Bring awareness there. Relax through that left glute. If feeling grounded, feeling centered. And when you're stable, take those left fingertips behind your left ear, reaching all the way up toward the top edge of your mat. Once again, check in with that left hip, that left glute, anchoring through the hips, relaxing through the hips, feeling stable, feeling grounded, feeling centered. And then once you feel good, once you feel balanced, you can open up that left palm toward the ceiling, look up, and open up through that left chest. We can also, from this position, just slide the hand forward like there's an invisible surface in front of you, working toward opening up toward the ceiling, moving through the range of motion in the shoulder, finding what works for your body today. So just do some exploring. Stay connected to the breath, staying anchored through the hips, and opening up through the chest. Good, take one more breath cycle here. And slowly, with control, bring it back to sitting. Take a second, bring your hands to the heart, close your eyes if it feels good. And just notice how you feel. Notice the quality of your breath. And notice where your thoughts go. We're going to take it to the other side. All right, so left hand comes to the mat, left fingertips pointing away from you. And you're just going to slide your left hand toward the bottom edge of your mat until you come all the way down to the forearm, or maybe close to it, or maybe not even close at all. Maybe you're just here with your elbow bent, and that's fine. Once you get there though, wherever your threshold is, take a second to anchor through the hips, check in with that right hip flexor, that right glute. Try to relax those a little bit, getting heavy through the right thigh, feeling stable, feeling grounded. And when you get there, take the right hand behind the right ear, reach all the way up toward the bottom edge of your mat. Big side body stretch. And then maybe you open up through the right chest, look toward the ceiling, breathe into that. Relax again through that right hip flexor, that right glute. Slide your hand across an invisible surface if it feels good. And just explore within the pose, listen to your body. Good, work with your breath. Remember that the neck is a nice long extension of the spine, so try not to collapse in the neck. Take one more cycle of breath, move through what feels good. And we'll bring it all the way back to center. Take another second, pause, settle in, feel your endorphins. And then when we're ready, you're going to send your fingertips all the way up toward the ceiling. Big stretch, bigger stretch, reach a little higher. Keep reaching. And then we're going to melt down to the right. So left hand comes to the top of the right knee, right hand comes behind you. Plant that right palm on the ground. Press into that sit up, lift, and twist. And then look back over your right shoulder if it feels good. Again, you can explore within that. So I like to tuck my chin because it feels good for my traps. close your eyes if you want to. And then we're gonna melt down to the right. So left hand comes to the top of the right knee, right hand comes behind you. Plant that right palm on the ground. Press into that, sit up, lift, and twist. And then look back over your right shoulder if it feels good. Again, you can explore within that. So I like to tuck my chin because it feels good for my traps. You can close your eyes if you want to. Sitting up, lifting, twisting through the torso. And on your next exhale, unravel, bring it all back to center. And we'll do the same thing on the left. So reach up high, fingers toward the ceiling, reach a little higher. Keep reaching, elongating through the spine. Reach, 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 reach. And then slowly melt to the left. Right hand comes to the top of left knee, left hand comes behind you. Plant that left palm, sit up, lift, and twist. And look back over your left shoulder. So every inhale is a big expansion through the upper back, through the torso. And every exhale should help you sink a little bit deeper into that twist. And when you feel good there, come back to center. And then one more time, we're gonna reach up really high. This time, when you've reached as high as you can, palms face me, and you're gonna slowly hinge at the hips, coming forward, bringing your palms all the way down to the ground or to the mat, wherever they land. And you're just gonna curl inward, let your head and neck relax. You can stay nice and active through the arms, walk your fingertips away from you if you want to. You can come down to the forearms and interlace your fingertips, but let the head and neck relax and just start syncing up with your breath. And then when you're ready, you're gonna bring the palms back to the floor if they're not already there, and walk the fingertips out and away from you. Keep the head and neck relaxed, just extending the arms long. And then you're gonna walk your fingertips one at a time, hands off to the left. So you're still folded, arms are fully extended, reaching toward the left. And for me, my knee comes between both of my arms here, that's fine. As long as you can relax your head and neck down into that stretch, it should be really intense through the right side body and that right hip, or whichever leg you have in front of the other. So just breathe into that. And then if you'd like a little more intensity, walk those right fingertips a little bit further away. When you feel good there, you can walk your hands one at a time back through center and over to the right. And same thing on the right, just relax your head, neck, and shoulders. Melt your heart back down toward your knee. Arms are extended. And then walk those left fingertips a little bit further away if it feels good. And you're just going to breathe into that left side body stretch, that left hip stretch. very slowly walk the hands back through center. And then with your arms fully extended, so hands are far away from you still, you're gonna very slowly with control plant the tailbone, plant the hip bones, and roll up through the spine, one vertebra at a time, nice and slow, super mindful. Try to slow it down. Use your abdominal wall to curl inward, making that nice strong base, strong core, stacking up through the spine. Opening up through the chest, roll the shoulders back, gaze comes up, chin comes up, head over heart, heart over pelvis. And then we're just gonna alternate your legs. So whatever leg is in front, you're gonna bring the other one in front. So it might be a little uncomfortable, just take a second, find your stability. And then we're gonna do exactly what we just did. So hands straight up toward the ceiling, reach really high, and then palms toward me, melt downward, heart's melting toward the floor. Head, neck, and shoulders are gonna relax. Palms come to the ground. Just gonna curl inward, sync up with your breath. Make sure you're not holding, clenching, squeezing anything. Just breathing deep, opening up through the hips. And then when you're ready, you can walk your hands one at a time off to the right. Just find your threshold, the edge of your range. Big stretch through the left side body, relaxing the head and neck and shoulders. Staying anchored, staying grounded, and maybe walking those left fingertips a little bit further away if it feels good. Relaxing through that left hip, through that left glute, breathing into it. Checking in with your inner dialogue. When you're ready, you can walk the hands one at a time back through center. We'll take it all the way to the left. And same thing here, just relax head, neck, and shoulders. Relax that right hip, that right glute. And maybe walk your right fingertips a little bit further away. When you're ready, walk it back through center. Same thing on the roll up. Plant the hip bones, plant the tailbone. You're gonna very slowly, just let your hands drag as you articulate through the spine. Nice and mindful. Bringing the abdominal wall inward, building up strength, building good posture, getting nice and tall, opening up through the chest, rolling the shoulders back, lifting your gaze. Checking in with the breath. And then the last thing we'll do here before we go onto all fours is just a little bit of wrist flexibility, mobility. So you can bring your hands to prayer pose, interlace your fingers, do a little wave through your wrists, just articulating through that full range of motion. Notice what you feel, what you hear. Good, and then we'll take the palms, open up outward and away, arch through the upper back, pressing through the forearms. And then we'll roll onto all fours. So just come forward, center yourself on the mat, do what you need to do. And we're just gonna start with a little spinal flexion extension. So just our typical cat-cow when you're ready. Next big inhale. You're gonna drop your belly, tilt the pelvis, look up. Nice long line at the front of the body. And then on your exhale, pressing away, from the mat, doming through the upper back, pressing into your shins, pressing into the tops of the feet, bringing the abdominal wall inward. Full exhale, and then sync up with your breath. On your inhale, drop the belly. Nice long line in the front, looking up. Fully exhaling, pressing away from the mat, digging in through the fingertips, the palms, the feet, arching through the upper back. And we'll just do a couple more of those with your breaths. All right, when you feel good there, you can come back to tabletop position. So nice long line from the crown of your head to the tip of your tail. Palms are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. And then we're just gonna extend that right hand out in front. And then your left leg out behind you. So nice long left leg, nice long right arm. And then from here, you're gonna turn the right palm downward to face the floor. And I'm gonna bend at both the knee and the elbow, but I'm gonna go out to the left and right. Imagine again that there's an invisible surface there. And try to get 90 degrees in your left knee, left ankle, and then extend back out. So try to sync up with your breath. So on your exhale, bend both the knee and the elbow. Pretend that there's an invisible surface. You're pulling those inward. Right arm goes out to the right. Left leg goes out to the left. And then inhale, reach. Exhale, left leg to the left. Right arm to the right. Inhale, reach. Get stable. And then come back to tabletop. So we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So we'll start by putting your weight into that right hand, extending the left hand out like you're gonna shake someone's hand. Right leg out behind you. Nice long line. My right foot is engaged, so my right toes are pointing toward my right shin. Reach, reach, reach. And then on your next exhale, bend both the left knee and the left elbow and the right knee. Bring left arm out to the left, right leg out to the right. And try to hover there in that invisible surface. Inhale, reach out, stretch, and sync up with your breath. Try to really slow it down, be mindful, challenging the balance, building strength. Good, maybe one more, and then you can come back to tabletop as you're ready. All right, so from tabletop, we are going to kick up that right leg. So it's at a 90 degree. You point your toes, look back over your left shoulder, and then you're gonna keep your weight in your right hand and your left shin, and you're just gonna reach back to grab that what leg is this? Right foot with your left hand. So starting from tabletop, you'll kick that right knee up, knees 90 degrees, point the toes toward the ceiling, drop your weight into the right palm and left shin. Take your left hand to the outside of that right foot, and then just press against each other. So pressing up and away from the body. Challenging balance, building strength, and come back to tabletop when you're ready. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So take a second, get centered, get grounded in tabletop. This time we're gonna kick that left leg up, left knee's at 90 degrees. Point the toes, look back over your right shoulder, and then ground yourself in that left palm and right shin. You're gonna pick up your right hand, reach for that left foot. If you can grab it, press up and away, challenging the balance, building strength, engaging with everything you have, and syncing up with the breath. back to tabletop. From tabletop, we're going to send the left leg back and then the right. Come to a plank pose, full extension at the hips, thinking cat pose in the upper body, doming through the upper back, really pressing the heels back toward the back edge of your mat. Maybe you rock back and forth on the feet a little bit, and slowly lower to the belly. Maybe you bring your hands off the mat this time, press up for King Cobra, reaching toward full extension at the elbows. Toes are pointing toward the back edge of the mat, not toward one another. Glutes are relaxed. And melt your heart back down when you're ready. One last time, we'll press up to plank and then come to all fours. From all fours, you can cross the ankles, roll back onto your hips, and extend both legs out long. So come to sitting, come to staff pose, however you get there is fine. All right, so we're just gonna do a seated forward fold. So another, you can either focus this on your low back or your hamstrings. So to do that, you will change whether or not your knees are flexed, and I'll talk about that, but make it work for you. So I'm gonna start with my knees at full extension. So that just means my legs are totally straight, my toes are flexed toward my shins, and then I'm gonna reach up really high like we did before. Reach as high as you can, thinking of elongation through the spine. And then on your next exhale, you're gonna slowly fold forward, reaching beyond your feet as far as you can, and maybe they don't get there, that's okay. You wanna try to grab the bottoms of your feet, but if you need to grab your ankles or your calves, that's fine too. So to focus on the hamstrings, just let the head and neck relax and try to keep your knees at full extension, nice straight legs. But if you'd rather focus on the lower back, you can generously bend your knees, and same thing, just fold inward. Let the head and neck relax. Sync up with your breath. Just notice what you feel. And then when you're ready, like we did before, plant the sits bones, plant the tailbones, slowly curl up through the spine. Sit up nice and tall. And then bring your hands together out in front, interlace the fingertips, and then you're gonna slowly roll back all the way down to lying. So go as slow as you can until you maybe lose control. Come onto your back. All right, then we are going to bring that right knee up off the mat, bent to a 90 degrees. So you're gonna take your left hand to the outside of that right knee, press in with your left heel to kind of shift your hips to the right, and then slowly use the weight of gravity, or the weight of your hand, to guide that right knee across your body toward the floor, and to open up through that right chest. So try to keep your right rear delt, the back of your right shoulder, pinned to the floor or toward it. And you can either rest your right foot on the inside of your left thigh, or on the carpet, or on the mat, whatever feels good for you. Just getting that torso twist and right glute stretch. Breathe deep. When you're ready, when you feel good with that, we can slowly unravel, come back to center. And of course, we'll do the same thing on the other side. So pick that left knee up off the mat, 90 degrees. Press in with your right heel, bump your hips to the left. Right hand comes to the outside of left knee. And you're just gonna roll that down toward the floor, toward the mat, keeping your left rear delt pinned to the mat. Sync up with your breath. When you're ready, you can roll back through center, come back to lying. And we're just gonna walk both heels up toward the hips. And you're gonna take your right leg, cross it over the left. Once again, press in with that left heel, bump your hips to the right, and let your legs crossed just roll to the left. So once they're there, maybe you'll look over your right shoulder or toward your right hand, just to get that full spinal twist. And when you're ready, look back toward the ceiling, roll back through that left heel, unravel. And same thing on the other side. You'll take that left leg over the right, press in with that right heel, bump your hips to the left, and let your legs roll to the right. Keep that left rear delt pinned toward the carpet or the mat, and look back at your left hand. Close your eyes if it feels good. And when you're ready, bring your gaze back toward the ceiling, roll through that right heel, unravel. Then we'll just walk the feet as wide as the mat, let the knees fall in toward one another. And you can just let them roll to the right and to the left, however it feels good for you. And then leave the feet where they are, let the knees fall inward, and just come to stillness. If you want to bring your hands to the belly or rest them softly on your heart space or wherever feels best for you. We're wrapping up today's practice, so take a second to just be mindful, be present. Check in with the quality of your breath. Notice how your body feels. Notice where your thoughts go. So try to bring that mindfulness and that it's intention throughout your entire someday. Try to bring that positive inner dialogue, no matter what you're doing or where you are. Just remember that positive change starts with mindfulness, which starts with the way that you talk to yourself, and that's important. Last but not least, we recognize that yoga is a community and that we're here practicing together. And I am grateful for you all for showing up today. And I hope you are too. So if you want to, you can bring your palms together at the third eye, or just relax in the meditative pose that you're in. Take one more collective inhale together. And one more collective exhale. Thank you so much for letting me lead you in this practice today. Namaste.